Hey guys, it's Manny, your body code practitioner out here in Salt Lake City. Just want to do a video in regards to the emotion code book. We're still continuing it here. So if you guys can, get ready, get strapped in, and we're going to continue reading the book. Hopefully you guys can hear me better. I don't want to cause an echo there. But anyway, so we're going to talk about the physical effects of trapped emotions. We'll start there, page 54. If you want to read along, again, every time I say side note, it's just, from my personal experience, kind of what I've gone through in regards to healing other clients, meeting with about 120, 130 clients a week for the last 4.5 years. And so I just want to just add my input. Again, disclaimer, this isn't me representing Discover Healing. This is just from my own personal experience, what I've seen, what I've experienced and felt with my clients. All right, so here we go. So we're at page 54, the physical effects of trapped emotions. Tissues that are continually being distorted by a trapped emotion will eventually suffer the effects of it. If you take a magnet and hold it close to an antique tube, type television or screen or computer monitor, you will see a very visible distortion of the picture. This is because the magnetic field is interfering with the normal flow of electrons at the screen. If you get the magnet too close, or if you leave the magnet there long enough, it will create a permanent distortion, even ruin the screen. Trapped emotions affect the body in a similar way. After all, the body is energy, and so are trapped emotions. Trapped emotions are a negative energy and distort the body tissues, just as the magnet distorts the picture on the TV screen. Distort the body tissues long term, and pain and malfunction will be the result. This is why the release of a trapped emotion will often cause immediate relief of discomfort and other symptoms, and possibly the reversal of some diseases. And so just a side note here, one of the things that you want to be careful with is we never cure anything. So you want to, some people will, ask you, like what, I have AIDS, or I have, this type of cancer. Can this help me out? And I would kind of like leave it to that extent. I would say, we're going to release a lot of imbalances, and this will help you in your journey for healing. I wouldn't go further than that. Is it possible that you can reverse some disease? I mean, I've seen some people where they had an extra amount of white blood cells, and all of a sudden it starts going backwards where they don't have that anymore. Or I've seen someone who had some type of bladder infection. All of a sudden, it like miraculously went away. I've seen different things like that, but again, it's something that we don't promise clients. We just say we're going to release as many imbalances, and we're going to see what happens, and have them take tests regularly so that they can see if there's some type of improvement, because that's where the rubber meets the road, right? So you want to say, hey, go check go check to see how this is doing now, or ask the doctor to look into this. So anyway, so it says here, back to the book, this is a very fertile ground for further research, which could yield profound insight into the disease process. It is my experience that trapped emotions can exert an astonishing influence over the tissues of the body. What happens when those tissues are continually irritated over time? The first effect is usually subtle malfunction, which looks different depending on what part of the body the trapped emotion is lodged in. These symptoms may include increased muscle tension, lowered immunity, increased susceptibility to injury, and acceleration of the aging process. Pains of all types and degrees is an extremely common result of trapped emotions. From migraine headaches to low back pain, from neck pain to knee pain, the most likely underlying cause appears to be these emotional energies. In addition, it appears that trapped emotions may exert a profound effect at the genetic level as well. It used to be thought that if you carried a gene sequence that was associated with breast cancer, for example, that cancer was a certainty in your future. Witness the actor Angelina Jolie's preventative double mastectomy, for example. However, now we know that the genetic traits like this may or may not express or become activated. It all depends on your experiences, your diet, the toxins you're exposed to, your stress levels, your emotional baggage. In my experience, removing the distortion that trapped the emotions cause may even have the potential to change the genetic sequence itself. At the very least, the emotion code often appears to mitigate the pain and other symptoms caused by genetic diseases. So very interesting enough with genes and DNA, you can actually work with that in the body code. You can say, are there any imbalances that I can release that are affecting my DNA in any way? And the body will say yes, and then you just release as much as you can from it. So there are, so obviously you've heard of genetic diseases. Usually I don't go straight for it's a genetic disease, let's see how we can fix the genes. I usually just say in general, what are the symptoms you're dealing with? And then I would start listing the symptoms. And now what I would ask the higher self to be, hey, which word should we work first? Which symptom should we work on first? And tackle by tackle, we would start helping someone out. Let's say fibromyalgia, or let's use like this lady who I worked with who had neuropathy. Her issues were her legs were getting tight, her calves were stiff, and her feet would lose feeling sometimes. She couldn't put blankets over her feet. So just all these different symptoms. So I wrote them down kind of separately. I didn't go neuropathy. I didn't say it. I just said, all right, so the feet, legs, the knee pain, swelled up ankles, whatever. I just wrote them all down. I just asked, hey, higher self, which one should we work on first? And it would find it. Now remember, the higher self of the body wants to work on multiple things at the same time. That's what I always tell people. I'm like, look, you think you're good at multitasking? Your higher self or your subconscious is way, way better than we'll ever be. And when it looks at those 5 things, it goes, how could I work on one thing that'll help out 4 other areas? And that's why I always tell people, my clients, hey, we really want to trust what your body chooses, because it'll always choose the best route, the fastest, quickest, and best route to have you healed. So just be a professional, again, symptom seeker, and then write them all down, and then we'll just see what we find. Again, let's go back into the book again. So it goes here. It says, genetic disorder improved. I carry the gene for ankylosing spondylitis. It's been active for many years. As an immune arthritis that turns your spine ligaments to bone, giving you a hunchback once it fuses. It also affects every joint in your body and your organs. My pain had reached an all-time high. It was difficult to turn over or get out of bed without extreme pain. I had my first emotion code session. My pain level went from an 8 to a 1. My bone pain was basically gone. It's been 3 months since then, and still almost zero bone pain. That was by Susan R. If tissues are irritated over a long period of time, they may eventually enter into a state of metaplasia, or change. In other words, the specific type of cell begins to revert to a more primitive cell. This is often a precursor to malignancy or cancer. While there are a variety of things that are thought to cause cancer, trapped emotions are a contributing factor to the disease process, as I believe there are too many, if not most, other diseases. Every cancer patient I treated was found to have trapped emotions embedded in the malignant tissues. It is possible. So, a side note, you can ask, for example, I have stomach cancer, so I would just say, are there any trapped emotions that are specifically affecting the stomach? And then I would just go in there. Or are there any ones that are trapped or are stuck near the stomach tissues? Then I would just basically start releasing there. So that's a very specific question. I love the way Dr. Brad kind of says, he'll be like, if someone's having knee pain, you can go in the body code, straight in the body code. But you can just also say, like, whenever you say, are there any trapped emotions that are contributing to this? It's like the body's like, oh, I know which ones. Pop, 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 pop. It's like 4 or 5. Or pop, pop, pop. There's 3 of them. It'll, wherever it's at, whatever it's affecting, whether it's the adrenals or who knows, but the body's like, yeah, these 3 are contributing to it. So you can do you have a lot of success just with trapped emotions, just releasing trapped emotions. There's people that have amazing, miraculous improvements, not even using the body code, just saying, hey, are there any trapped emotions contributing to IBS? Are there any trapped emotions contributing to stomach pain? And so definitely use that statement a lot. Are there any trapped emotions contributing to blank? Are there any trapped emotions contributing to her fear? Are there any trapped emotions contributing to her lack of sleep? Are there any trapped, that's a really great sentence is, are there any trapped emotions contributing to, and then whatever that person is dealing with, just say that word. And don't make it too complicated. A lot of body code practitioners, emotion code practitioners get really stuck on like verbiage. If you're a beginner, just keep it that simple. Are there any trapped emotions contributing to blank? And now later on, you can be like, you can have more fancier sentences and be like, oh, fatigue. It's like, are there any imbalances, contributing to fatigue outside of fungal infection? Whatever. You can be more specific, but I think we got to keep it simple. Simple works. Anyway, back to page 56 here. It is possible that some of these energies may have been attracted to the disease area precisely because the tissues were in a severe state of imbalance. While this is possible, even likely as the disease progresses, trapped emotions are proving to be an unrecognized yet significant underlying cause of cancer. It is vital that these trapped emotions be removed. Even though they may have already contributed to the cancer, once removed, they cannot cause any further damage in the years to come. Rachelle's lung cancer. When Rachelle first came to me for treatment, she had a cancerous tumor the size of a baseball in her lung. She was going through chemotherapy when we met. I asked her body if there were trapped emotions in malignant lung tissue, and the response was yes. Trapped emotions in Rachelle's tumor dated back many years to a time when she was a young woman. She was Filipino, had married an American sailor stationed in the Philippines. After they had a child together, Rachelle's husband was away at sea for 6 months or more at a time. She expected his frequent absences and had come to terms with separation in her conscious mind, but raising a child by herself was difficult and lonely. Consciously, Rachelle believed that was difficult. Consciously, Rachelle believed that she was fine with his absence, but the body revealed that the emotions of resentment, frustration, abandonment had become trapped inside of her during this period. No, Rachelle insisted. I never felt that way. I know Danny would be gone. It was fine with me. I was okay on my own. And yet, after I'd run the magnet down her back, Rachelle sat up and shook her head. It's the funniest thing, she said, I feel so much lighter, like a weight has been lifted from my chest. Since she had to drive 20 minutes each way to my clinic, I saw Rachelle only 3 times. But it was enough for me to release all the trapped emotions that showed up in the area of her tumor. About 5 weeks later, she came to my office to share good news. Her doctors had taken a new x-ray, and the tumor was completely gone from her lung. Could the trapped emotions have been a significant contributing factor in the creation of this cancer? I believe the answer is yes. Of course, I can't prove that the release of trapped emotions eliminated the tumor, since Rachelle was undergoing chemotherapy. But by removing the emotions that were lodged in her chest, we may have made the chemotherapy more effective, and their removal long enough to see a day when all patients will be treated with the best of all like these methods. Jean's painful ovary. One of the things about trapped emotions that surprised me was the ability to cause physical pain. First experience that I had with the phenomenon was quite dramatic. My wife, Jean, suddenly began experiencing acute and severe pain in her left lower abdomen. Muscle testing showed that the pain was coming from her left ovary. The cause was emotional. To my surprise, I ended up finding not 1, but 6 different emotions. As you will learn later on, we release trapped emotions one at a time. Sometimes more than one trapped emotion will be found in the same area, as in this case. With the exception of the last emotion, all of them had to do with tragic or upsetting events that had occurred in the lives of women that were close to Jean. I released each trapped emotion as it was identified. Amazingly, her pain level decreased instantly and noticeably with each trapped emotion that I released. After I had cleared 5 trapped emotions, her pain level was a fraction of what it had been only moments before. But her body indicated there were one more trapped emotion. Testing quickly revealed that an emotion of worthless had become trapped when Jean was in kindergarten. The year was 1960. It was election year, and the contest was between Richard Nixon and John F. Kennedy. Jean's teacher informed her that a boy and a girl from the school had been chosen to be interviewed by the local newspaper about the upcoming presidential election, and she was one of those chosen. She was told that she would be asked some questions about the candidates, particularly whom she would vote for if she could. She was excited. When the big day arrived, she was ushered into a room at the school that had been prepared for the interview. There were 2 chairs set up right in front, one for each child. The interviewer began asking questions of the little boy first, while flash bulbs popped as his picture was taken, although her picture was taken also. For some reason, no questions were asked of Jean at all. She was ignored almost completely, with the exception of being told how to pose for the photo. Suddenly, the interview was over. As she was ushered back into the classroom, she felt confused. Gradually began to dawn on how unimportant she must be. She began to feel worthless, and she felt the emotion strongly enough it became trapped in her physical body. Emotions are energy, and the specific vibration of an emotion determines precisely which emotion it is. A trapped emotion is like a little ball of energy which will always land or become lodged. Sorry guys, I might need to get back to my sessions here. Lodged somewhere in the physical body. For some reason, the trapped emotion of worthlessness lodged in Jean's left ovary, where it remained for 30 years. Wow. When we released this last emotion, the remnants of Jean's pain was instantaneously gone. Jean and I looked at each other in mutual amazement at what we just had experienced. She's never experienced that kind of pain again. I can help but think of all the people suffering with acute pain like this, when the remedy may be so quick and simple. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it right there. Next time, I'm going to do a reading from like 58 all the way to 65. I'm going to do a 7-page one just so we can get back on the 5s again. But I wanted to cut it off early because I got to go to a session. But definitely, if you have any questions, go ahead and comment below. I'm here to read this for you. I mean, we've gone a pretty long ways. We're almost at page 60, right? I mean, we got ways to go. But this is going to be a fun journey between us. And feel free to buy this book. This is the book that you want to get, The Emotion Code by Dr. Brad, the new and revised one, which came out early May. Very powerful book. And again, if you're meeting with a body code practitioner, yeah, this is a good book to read while you're meeting with them. If you haven't had a complimentary session yet, you can look at the comment below. I'll leave where you can set one up for me for free. If I am booked about 3 or 4 weeks out, but you never know. You can write an email to my assistant and we can set something up. So with that, have an amazing day and we'll be in touch soon. And don't forget that if you are a healer, remember this is a journey. And if you are a client, remember this is a journey. I used to, on my Zoom page, which is where I used to do video calls, it wasn't my emotion code vacation. It was my emotion code journey. And there are going to be some ups and downs, but just know that you're moving forward. You're not moving backwards. So with that, it's Emmanuel, body code practitioner out here in Salt Lake, and hopefully we'll be in touch soon. And we will tomorrow, we'll start at the end of page 58, and we'll go all the way to 65 next time. Take care. Bye-bye.